Yep. Okay, I call a regular session to order at 5:34. And are there any modification to the minutes or additions to the agenda?
There aren't any.
All right, carrying none. Is there any
I don't think we've lost our leader.
public comment?
Yeah, nothing to speak. We're just here to.
Okay, good. Any other public comment?
Pete Tesmer and then Steve Carlson.
Can we comment on the spring planning?
Yeah, step up and state your name and
My name is Steve Carlson. I'm coming up on my 15th year as a marine attendant, and I used to be the waterfront manager prior to Daryl, and I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of Hood River Yacht Club. Historically, the board representing the marina has offered subleasing to tenants, and it was decided this year that that wasn't going to be offered by staff. And in page 135 of your packet in the recreation and marina statement made by staff, it says marina subleasing staff has suspended marina subleasing due to continued misuse of the privilege and intends to recommend the elimination of subleasing in the 26-27 marina rules and regulations. So as having sat at Daryl's desk, administering those subleases is of extra work, and there has certainly been abuse of that privilege, and its administration and its enforcement are very difficult. But the primary benefactors of subleasing, in addition to the slip holders themselves, for instance, I'm not going to be able to use my slip very much this summer, and there's a possibility I'd like to sublease to somebody else, for which I would receive equivalent funds to what I've contributed. So there's no profit involved or anything, and that option would go to the first person on the wait list. And anyway, other people that benefit from this are some of the more active people in our boating community, which are some of the sailboat racers who are also on the wait list. And as people go down the wait list, sometimes those people end up with those slips as well. Anyway, I would encourage staff to consider the opportunity to do subleases. That's a lot of work for you guys. Consider that. And also, as you move forward with 26-27 potential rules and regulations change, I think that HRYC, the River Yacht Club, will make a statement to the board regarding our feelings about that. New stakeholder group may have an opinion about that as well. But anyway, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. Putting it on the radar.
That's good stuff.
Appreciate it. All right, moving to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Did you want to make a public comment?
Well, can I just, I guess so.
Yeah, go ahead and step up.
Art,
Thanks. Yep.
do you mind if I can shut these down?
Go ahead and state your name.
Kristen Cudkin.
Neighbor.
Yeah, I know. A lot of new friendly faces here. So I thought I would just drop by and just make sure people are aware of Big Art and have an understanding about it. I don't want to take up too much time, so I won't go through the whole background, unless there's somebody here would like a little bit of background on what it is.
No, we love art.
Okay. We're in our 12th year, 7th session, and it's a rotating public art every 2 years. And we're just about to start selection process on the next pieces. And I believe we talked to Megan and Amanda, and we were hoping that the port would continue to support at least 2 sites. The city, just to let you know, the city cannot be a cornerstone foundational partner because of the urban renewal zones, but they hope to then pick it up another couple of sessions. So we are looking for a cornerstone partner, which is like the 10,000 umbrella sponsor. So we would love for the court to officially consider that. And in lieu of that, we would love your continued support for a couple of sites, 2 sites.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, now we'll get to go to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
My question for perfect consent agenda.
Okay, is there any discussion? I
I
actually
do have
couple
a
items,
question.
but go ahead.
Oh, Commissioner Baker, I believe we are on this. We do maybe have some of the same comments. For the welding and deck repair, is there a way we're keeping track of the money spent and the value added to the safety of the bridge? Question mark.
Yeah, this would be a great opportunity for Amanda.
Yeah.
She's been studying this one.
Yeah, so love to answer this question. Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
Prior to right now, Commissioner Baker brought this up last time, that there hasn't been great tracking of what's been done. And kind of what the outcome is long-term of each well. So Megan and I, during one of the overnight bridge closures, went ahead and walked the bridge with Bulldog Welding, who is the partner that we usually use to do the welding, to assess the cracks, look at past welding, things like that, through communication with Bulldog Welding, along with communications of Cascade Locks, who also uses Bulldog Welding. There's a big discussion about the previous kinds of welds, which were spot welds, the purpose of those, and the very temporary hold that they bring, somewhere around a year, depending on weight load, and how it may be better money spent to explore what they call spider welds. And so our goal with the new contract is to go ahead and possibly do spider welds, which take a little bit longer to achieve, but they essentially hold semi-permanently and don't need to so much be redone every single year. So assuming we move ahead with the spider welds, we will begin tracking those per weld in each span and the mapping procedures that we've laid out, to then track those and how much money we're spending on those, how much time we're spending, and essentially how long they're lasting, to hopefully get the best time out of our money and money spent to uphold the bridge.
So to date, we don't necessarily have that information. Is that correct?
We have some information from 24, 25 prior management. It had collected some details, but they're not sufficient to tell us the kinds of welds that were done, how long they were lasting, what was redone or not redone. Not a great map, is Commissioner Baker pointed out.
That's my only question for that topic. Commissioner Baker, do you have any follow-up?
That's just I'm just so glad you brought that up. I was gonna, yeah, but the only other question I had was just a real quick one. Section B, approving the bid for solicitation for the painting and
sure.
miscellaneous steel repairs. Do you just have a ballpark idea of how many firms we think might respond to such a request?
We do not, and it has been especially hard to find people to give accurate quotes on the painting. HDR has done a really great job of trying to get that scope ahead of time, and they've really had trouble. Turns out not many people paint steel bridges on a daily basis. So we really have no idea at this point how big that scope and offers are going to be.
I guess my big concern is that we have an estimated cost of about 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have our own estimated cost and then we go out and if we just get one bid and they're like, oh, guess what? It's 1.2 million. I just want to make sure that we have a process where we're getting enough bidders that it's competitive and we get a good deal on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no reason to think we would only get one bid. I think it's a highly competitive market, like Jeff was mentioning, with people looking for work, because we could at least make a decent assumption we'll have some competitiveness involved.
If I could just hop
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So this is a large procurement.
Uh-huh.
So this is the one procurement where we bring the procurement document to you for approval.
Right.
Ultimately, this will go on Oregon Buys.
Mhm.
And it will go, there's for the strategic business plan, it went to 6,000 companies that fit those codes.
Mhm.
So that'll be the most likely way to increase the largest bandwidth for
Okay.
proposals.
Excellent, great to hear. Those in favor of the consent agenda?
Hang on, I'm sorry, I have another question. I apologize. Megan, can you please explain why KPFF needs another $460,412.50 to a project? I believe, is this the second increase they've asked for?
This
Because
is,
didn't we approve another increase before?
so for KPFF, this would be the second amendment. My understanding is that the first amendment came forward in January of 24. And it was really to adjust the project scope from the East Anchorway extension to shift to the roundabout. And so my understanding is that at the time was a no cost kind of scope change to move forward with the design. But with that, the intention was to get it to the 30% design milestone. And in that amendment, there was also like an aspiration of, if we can, we'll get it as close to a 60% as possible. But with the budget that was in that original contract, they didn't think that they would get to the full 60%. And so we're at this point now where they've achieved the 30% design milestone. They've started to progress towards the 60% design milestone that we'll have in, by end of this fiscal year. And so this is really kind of that next step in the process, is to fund them from 60% to 100% design. So it's not additional money for which they were scoped for before. It's kind of taking it to the next phase of work and moving from 60% to 100% design.
So their scope was to get us to 30, or their scope was to get us to 60?
The scope was to get us to 30, and there was language in the original contract that said whatever money, like we'd do the consultant would do their best to take it as far towards 60 as possible. So I'm going to say that we're at like a 45% design, even though that's not like a formal milestone, but I'd say they've gotten it to about a 45% design with the budget in the original contract.
And I may have missed this in the write-up. Thank you for the write-up. Is this a time and materials contract, or is this a lump sum?
This is time, I believe it's time and materials. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize, my fellow commissioners. Was this a lowest price awardee, or was this a best value?
It was actually it was an engineering procurement. It was actually the highest level procurement.
So best value.
No,
Best value?
no, because it was scored by quals.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yep.
Highest qualified.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an RFP, not an ITB. Invitation to bid, request for proposals. Invitation to bids are low cost.
Sure.
As a consultant, I think a way you get a lot of money is just to keep asking for scope change. And I understand that's what, you go in LPTA and then you just get for some scope change, and then you ask for another scope change, and then you ask for another scope change, and, it ends up being one thing after another. I wanted to raise that concern, as I really do appreciate your oversight, Megan, and your value add to our commission. I appreciate that. I see your recommendation is to approve this, and so I do value staff's input. I just ask us that we just don't let consultants run us around, if you will, and just keep adding to the overall cost, just because these are taxpayer dollars. So thank you for clarifying that. Those are all my questions, Commissioner.
Okay, those in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Moving on, informational reports, monthly financial.
I think her brain's tired.
You are correct. Thank you. Yeah, and I really don't have anything to add. This one is, by the way, though, you will notice if you look at, if you've had a chance to look at it with all the other data that I have fed to you for today's meeting, this one is with the reorg in it. And then also I need to do something. I didn't put my page numbers on here. We have a lot of industrial properties now, and that's if you do, even if you print on 11 by 17, it's getting hard to read. So anyway, that it is the new format and reflects the budget as it is today.
Thank you.
So
Executive Director report.
I have nothing to add at this time.
Commissioner and committee reports.
Kevin's tired too.
No, I just don't have anything else to add.
I'm tired. Under commissioner reports, I have something fun to add real quick. I accompanied Greenwood Roads and Channel to the port of Kaminista for a day to do a sort of inter-port exchange, where we received a tour of the airport and a tour of their big waterfront development project. And also got to meet with representative of the developer. And that was a fantastic meeting. I think we all learned a lot, and they, I think, didn't. So we need to maybe reciprocate to the port of Kaminista because they really bent over backwards to share everything that they're doing with us. And it was a great learning opportunity. They, I think, do a really good job of engaging with their community, and I took some pointers from them. And they're also, their relationship with their developer for their big waterfront mixed commercial and residential project was really cool to get to meet and talk to and see how they approached it. And that kind of gave me some ammunition in the future when looking at developers who might work with our port and sort of some desired best practices. So that was just an incredibly useful couple of hours, I feel. And I just want to share that with the rest of the commission.
And thank you for flying us there. Oh, yeah. Megan's first flight in a small plane, and maybe Amanda's too.
Yes.
Sure. So that was fun.
Quick
Moving on.
bridge update, if I may. Just so everyone is aware, we did not receive the 2025 BIP application. There were 2 awardees, just so everyone is also more aware. The last money we need is federal funding for $532 million to build the bridge. We have the state funding, we have the local funding. We're waiting for that last in dollar of federal funding. The bridge improvement program is built for bridges like ours that are waiting for that last dollar in to break ground. We are highly ranked in the current scoring. We're actually better ranked in this administration than the past one because of the way that the bridge is being set up and how it is a get you from point A to point B bridge with not multimodal different lanes, et cetera. And so we are very highly positioned to hopefully receive the 2026 BIP grant application. They are in preliminary review at this point. We had a meeting with USDOT, and so there will be some asks from different stakeholders in the community, specifically farmers, agriculture, orchardists, individuals who utilize the bridge both on top and underneath, because we need as many people as possible to be reaching out to specific delegates and also USDOT individuals to ensure that they understand the project is not just of a very small community importance, but more of a national importance. So there will be that ask, I think, coming from the Bridge Authority. As most people are aware, this is really, if we don't get the 2026 BIP funding, which again, like I said, is in preliminary review, the project will increase in price, probably about $80 million. And so we want to ensure that we keep taxpayer money as most benefit to our community as possible. So we're not just paying for inflation and pushing the ball down the court. We're having meetings, you know, we had meetings yesterday, today, Wednesday, and Thursday. So where our delegation is really open to hearing from us. And so we're really hopeful for that. There has been a lot of talks about what federalizing a bridge means. And so I just want to, you know, make the Port Authority aware and my fellow commissioners aware that we have a lot of people advocating for a bridge, but I think there may mean making some phone calls if that makes sense. And there may be some direct asks coming from the Hood River Bridge Authority and potentially Summit Strategies, which is our lobbyist group. But just please be ready for that, because I think our community needs a bridge. Obviously, you all know that, but it really is tying both White Salmon and Hood River together as a larger impactful value add to the Pacific Northwest overall. So glad to talk more about that offline. As I understand, it is almost 6 p.m. where you are, and it's 9 p.m. where I have been, and I've been up since 3 a.m. your time. So thank you all for everybody who's coming. I appreciate it. And please feel free to reach out to me with any further questions as well. That is all, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas, and thank you for your current efforts in Washington. We all appreciate it. Upcoming meetings for us, we have a budget meeting on May 5th, a regular session on the 19th, another regular session on 16th, and I adjourn. We're done. Have a nice evening. Thanks for coming.